So Rashaad, obviously, really excited to have him. I've been excited about him since last year, going in there and following Donnell Pumphrey, who was a big-time player last year, and then you're always curious about the backup running back, and he looked impressive from day one. Had a really big year. Obviously, really fast, athletic, really great kid. Never whined about anything being the backup, even though he was arguably a more talented guy. So really excited to get him. Had a really big year. Being a first-year starter, it was kind of interesting to see his progression going through the middle of the year, seeing how he's going to handle the full load, and then he finished the year with 5 straight 200-yard games, so that's pretty cool. Rasheem is also a guy who's really intriguing. Going in there the past few years, they had Leonard Williams prior, who big number 94, 6th overall pick, really talented guy. Not on the same level as that guy, but this really young athletic kid with long arms. Kind of jumped off the tape early on as a true freshman there, and so following him over the past 3 years, just saw a lot of upside. Disruptive guy, really long, just kind of coming into his own as an athlete and growing into his frame. So he's exciting, and the upside is really cool with him. And then Disley is just an awesome kid. He's big, he's tough, former D lineman. He's from Montana, kind of salt of the earth kid. Really smart. So he's going to give you everything he got, and he's probably the best on the line of scrimmage technician, wide blocker that was in the draft this year. So we were lucky to have him.
Why is he? Is it surprising he's so technically good at blocking for being 2 years at that position?
Not really. I mean, at that position, you just got to have the want-to, you got to have the strength, you got to have the frame, and he has all that, and he's a super smart guy, so he really put in the work and the time to get better at it, and UW does a really good job of running downhill and focusing on the run game, so he got a lot of reps there and really excelled at it. So.
How much easier is it for you to scout a guy like Rashaad when he runs in a system that's kind of similar to what a lot of pro-style systems are?
Yeah, it's cool that it's going to translate to what we're going to do. But we're looking at a lot of the same traits regardless, the speed, the strength, the athleticism, the hands, kind of a well-rounded back. So it's nice to see that he's going to fit in nicely with what we do. But I think he's pretty scheme diverse. He could probably play in a lot of systems. So the traits are just what jump out at you, regardless.
Sorry. Of all the plays that Rashaad made in college, is there one that sticks out to you?
There's a lot of pretty good plays. There was a couple this year that really jumped out to me. One against Hawaii, one against UNLV. One against Hawaii, they have a big 6'4", 250-pound middle linebacker, and Rashaad bursts through the hole. The guy kind of falls off him, and it was like something out of Little Giants or something. He drags him for literally 10 yards hanging onto his T-shirt. And then there's one against UNLV where he bounces outside, runs over this guy, and then runs for another 25 yards. So he's got a pretty cool highlight reel.
You were talking about Disley earlier as a Y. How much harder are those guys to find now than maybe?
Yeah, it's definitely kind of a disappearing position just because how many teams run spread, and a lot of the tight ends are kind of just big athletic wide receivers. So coming from a system like UW and having a run focused offense and how much success they've had, it's cool to see him and his traits just fit right into what we're going to do.
With Green, how much did you see him outside of 5? Did he do that at all?
Yeah, he did a little bit. So they played him primarily inside at the 3 technique position, and naturally he's built like a defensive end. So he's really big and long, and for us that you can see the 5 technique translate easily, and it's really cool that he has all that experience inside to be disruptive. So the versatility is awesome with him.
How much different is it scouting a 20-year-old versus a 22-year-old senior or 23, guy who's been around a long time?
It's a little bit different. Obviously, just the amount of exposure you have to him. You're given a few more years of being able to watch him and learn more about him and watch him grow. I mean, how much does everybody change from 20 to 23 and figuring out who they are in college? But especially with him, you know the upside. Like, he's a kid that is already a really good player, already wants to be a really good player. He's 20, so it's cool to get him in our building, all our resources, and then watch him grow into what he could be, because he could be really special.
Great. Anything else, guys? Have a good night.
Just one more question. What can you expect from Disley as a receiver?
Oh, he's got really soft hands. That's the other thing. He's not, I mean, that's his best attribute as a blocker, but you can get him out. He can do a lot of things. He's obviously not going to be a guy, Jimmy Graham or any of these matchup nightmare type guys who's running down the seam and getting vertical, but the guy can catch whatever you throw at him. He can be a factor there too.
John Schneider and Pete Carroll talked about it for the draft. They're trying to go to a smaller draft board this year, fewer names on it, and in the past, the scouts kind of fall in love with the guys they've been tracking for 11 months and they put them on the board. Did you notice that this year, and how is that transition for a scout? Do you look at them differently that way?
No, I mean, we're kind of always looking for the same thing that John has always echoed. So we want smart, tough, reliable guys, and that fit the competitive aspect of this building. So it didn't change a ton, I guess. It's just more when you're really getting down to it here at the end is just figuring out who are the guys that really fit what we want to do versus just they may play somewhere else in the league and then be a good player, but we just want guys that are going to fit in here the best.
Not guys that they told you no.
Not a ton. No.
All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, John.